Hello everyone, and welcome to this special review video. So, I just watched the Super Mario Bros. Movie a few days ago, and I just gotta say, it was a great movie. I had lots of fun watching it, and I have a lot to say about it. So in this video, I'm going to be giving my general thoughts on it, as well as providing you with the plot, animation, soundtrack, references, and characterization. Now, before I begin, I want you to know that there is a major spoiler alert in effect. If you haven't seen the movie yet, I would highly recommend that you click off this video if you don't want on spoilers. And I could add visuals here, but I'm feeling a bit lazy, so I'm just gonna have like a bunch of audio footage of various Mario gameplay. By the way, I do not own these gameplays. I'm gonna put a link in the description to credit them. Okay, so let's begin with the plot. So the plot of the movie is as follows. Bowser he invades the Snow Kingdom and he steals a powerful superstar. Meanwhile, in New York City, Mario and Luigi are plumbers who start a small business outside Brooklyn. At Punch-Out Pizzeria, the brothers proudly watch their commercial, but they encounter Spike, a boss who is not very fond of them. They go to their first plumbing job at a Brooklyn house that ends up in destructing the bathroom. They return home with a meal for their family, but only their mother is supported. They see a newscast report about a significant leak in manholes throughout Brooklyn. Mario and Luigi promptly go to see this, but while exploring the sewers, Luigi stumbles upon a mysterious pipe, and Mario ends up going in as well. They say that they're best when they're together, but Luigi ends up going to Bowser's castle while Mario ends up in the Mushroom Kingdom. There he meets Toad, and is informed about Luigi's fate. Toad asks for help from Princess Peach and takes Mario through the kingdom. Luigi is in big trouble. At Peach's castle, Peach explains to the Toads that Bowser is going to invade their kingdom. Peach asks to form an alliance with the Jungle Kingdom to stop him. The Princess and Mario meet afterwards with the former surprised to see another human. Peach takes Mario on a course, like a training course, and explains how the power-ups work. Mario fails the course a lot of the times, but he keeps trying and eventually comes close enough that Peach ends up taking him along anyway. Meanwhile, Bowser rallies the Koopa Troop and plans to make an evil plan to get Peach to marry him so that they can rule the kingdom together. He later sings a brief song which is amazing, but is interrupted by camming about Mario's arrival in the Mushroom Kingdom. However, Bowser is not concerned. Bowser begins to see Mario as a rival here. Luigi, meanwhile, is placed in a cage above a pit of lava, where others such as the penguins and a demented Luma Star have also been caged. The Luma Star is really annoying, honestly. Mario, Peach, and Toad travel through several various locations, and Peach shares her backstory in the Fire Flower Field. Upon arriving in the Jungle Kingdom, Peach consults King Clanky Kong for an army of Kongs to support the fighting Bowser. The only way this can be done is if Mario defeats Donkey Kong. He emerges in this huge arena, and Mario attempts to defeat him by eating a mini mushroom before ultimately turning into Cat Mario and ultimately defeating him. Then they agree and they build a cart. They drive on the cart through a secret passage that leads down Rainbow Road. However, they're stopped by the Blue Shell General, who eventually turns into the spiky blue shell and crashes into Mario and Donkey Kong, who fall into the ocean below. And much to Peach and Toad's despair, and all the Kongs are captured and sent to the dungeons. Peach and Toad, however, successfully make it back to the Mushroom Kingdom, and Peach warns all the citizens to make a mass evacuation because Bowser is going to invade their kingdom. Mario and Donkey Kong are later revealed to be alive in the ocean. And they manage to use power-ups to get Ed out. Meanwhile, Bowser has convinced Peach to marry her, and the wedding goes well until Mario and Donkey Kong show up to fight off the Koopas. This leads to the Mario Brothers finally being reunited in a very sweet moment. Bowser at this point sends a giant bomber-bill to attack, but Mario diverts it back through the pipe that they entered, into the real world. With Bowser's ship bursting out and landing in the middle of the street. Bowser pounces on Mario and nearly knocks him out, and then sees a damaged television, reminding him that he can save Brooklyn. Ultimately, the two of them work together, and Mario and Luigi obtain the Superstar together, defeating Bowser, who is forced to eat a mini mushroom and placed in a jar. In the end, the Mario Brothers are celebrated as heroes not only by their new friends in the Mushroom Kingdom, but also by the residents of Brooklyn. Afterwards, Mario and Luigi move to the Mushroom Kingdom where they continue being plumbers. In the credits scene, we see Bowser singing another version of his song to Peach, while he's still mini and with a high-pitched voice. The very ending scene is with a Yoshi egg and a Yoshi in the background, which could hint that a Yoshi movie is coming in the future. So that was the plot. Now, let's talk about the animation. Like all Illumination movies, the animation for the Mario movie was great. All the visuals were good, eye-appealing, and what you would expect in a Mario game. Specifically Rainbow Road, it was very well done. I also like how they used the bills and the beams in the Donkey Kong fight, just like the original Donkey Kong game. I also liked in the beginning how Mario and Luigi were going across the Brooklyn area like a platforming game, and Mario was sliding down like a flagpole as well. The animation style of some of the characters is a little bit uncanny to a great big Mario fan like myself, but I gotta admit, after a while, I got used to them. Bowser seemed to be the most equivalent, while Mario's and Luigi's weren't that bad either. Okay, now let's talk about the soundtrack. Need I say more, the soundtrack for the Mario movie is fantastic. The credits one in particular. There were so many Mario songs all smushed into that one. And it's really nice to see how much care they actually put into this movie. I know a lot of people also got a little mixed about the overabundance of the 80s soundtracks, but if you ask me, it kind of makes sense. Mario got his start in the 80s, and it was nice that they considered that. Not to mention the 80s has some real good bangers. While movies are prone for having a lot of songs like musicals, there was really only one short one. And I gotta say, Jack Black absolutely killed it with Peaches. No, seriously, that song's been stuck in my head. Okay, now let's talk about all the references made. So the Mario movie is full of Easter eggs and references. Some of them are really clever. There was one with Punch-Out Pizzeria, owning the game to Punch-Out. There's also a Jumpman arcade game, and the guy who was voiced by the Charles Martinet. Spike is a villain in the Wrecking Crew game franchise, which is similar to Mario. There's also a lot of scenes from Super Mario Odyssey and Balloon Fight. In the ground scene, we also hear the jingle from World 1-2, and in Peach's Castle, we hear the Super Mario 64 jingle. In the antique shop, we can see the boomerang flower, the music box, and the pixelated hammer used by Jumpman. Peach floating down was also a nice touch, since that is one of her good classic moves. All Luigi's fights in the Darklands were very reminiscent of Luigi's Mansion. They also show how developed he is as a character, probably even more developed than Mario. While he can be goofy sometimes, he also has a fear, and I think that makes him relatable. The best reference of all was the DK rap in Donkey Kong's entrance. I legit freaked out when I heard this. It was so good. I also find it really cool how they managed to incorporate Mario Kart into this, and how they were able to customize their own kart. Toad's huge kart was absolutely hilarious. And not to mention the hang glider, that was a very nice touch. The marriage, I believe, is actually an homage to Super Mario Odyssey. And there are a lot of power-ups were used. Like the mushroom, the fire flower, the ice flower, the mini mushroom, and of course, the superstar. The final blow on Bowser was the grabbing by the tail, spinning the body, and throwing them far away. A move that became famous during the boss battles of Super Mario 64. I also like the opening of the movie, when it featured them in 8-bit. But I have to say, the absolute best reference, even more than the DK rap, was the Mario Brothers rap in the plumbing commercial. That just... oh my goodness, that was such a great idea. Like, so much attention to detail. If they ever decide to reboot the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, that should definitely be the opening. Anyways, let's get to my next point. So while I did really enjoy the Mario movie, I do have one critique. And that is the limits of characterization. The story overall is kind of generic, but that's kind of understandable for a Mario movie. We all know the story of Mario. Peach is kidnapped and Mario must save her. Or in this case, Bowser is planning an invasion and Mario is the one who saves the day. So that's fine. However, throughout the movie, there doesn't seem to be that much development for the characters. Mario and Luigi have their personalities kind of implemented at the very beginning, with Mario being the reluctant but courageous of the two, while Luigi is the more frantic, scared, and silly. Peach's was the worst. She just seemed as like this princess classic and was perfect in every way. When she floated down the course, I was like, come on! Like, how is that fair? Toad's was kind of annoying as well, but he is kind of annoying in the original, but I still like him. However, his immediate connection to Mario was a bit sketchy. I will say I do appreciate how Mario was courageous and didn't give up. It made him that, like, you wanted to cheer for him, and was happy when he pulled it off. Also, I understand that a lot of people were a bit annoyed about how Mario and Luigi constantly said, everything is better when we're together, and they managed to stay separated throughout the entire movie. But in my opinion, it makes the scene where they do unite very heartwarming. It was very nice to see this brotherly bond, and the fact that they got the superstar and defeated Bowser and saved Brooklyn together. So yeah, while the characterization could be improved, I'd still say that they kind of implemented all their personalities. I assume this would only work if you're a true Mario fan. If you don't know the characters that well, you're gonna have a hard time following along, because everything moves pretty fast and we don't really get to meet any of these characters, other than the main ones, of course. However, I will say the Lumen Star was possibly the most annoying. At the end credit, as when he said all that, I was like, shut up the whole time. So anyway, that's it. So let's move on to the conclusion. So in conclusion, the Super Mario Bros. Movie definitely lived up to my expectations. It was everything I expected from a Mario movie and much more. This is what we expect from an animated video game movie, not that crappy live-action one from the 90s. Now, would I recommend this movie? Well, if you're a true Mario fan, then I would definitely recommend you checking it out. Even if it's just a trailer or two. If you have kids as well, then I could see them enjoying this. But in my opinion, this movie's for everyone, like for the whole family. And no wonder this movie made over $1 billion at the box office. That just shows it's that good. So I get what the critics were saying with the lack of characterization and it moving a bit too fast. But a lot of us fans seem to like really enjoy it. And I'm with them. A lot of you have been saying that Illumination and Universal have been killing Disney in the movie industry. And I can definitely see why. I gotta say, if Disney doesn't get back on track with original ideas, they are in trouble. Especially if Elemental or Wish don't do that well. Anyways, thanks for watching this review, and feel free to leave your thoughts on the Super Mario Bros. Movie in the comments. I apologize if I stuttered a lot a bit. I actually did this without a script, and I was just talking about my thoughts right off the dome. So I'm sorry in advance. Anyways, this is me signing off. Goodbye.